Dear all, good afternoon. As you are aware, I am here to discuss the attainment of CO, that is course outcome and program outcome, as per the methodology what we have following at the moment in our college. Of course, let me tell you, there are different methodology that has been followed. Some of the methodology can be termed as quantitative methodology, whereas some of the things are qualitative plus quantitative. So let me discuss all those varieties of methodology. Then probably you can pick which is the most preferable one. But please remember that there is no specific methodology that has been proposed by the statutory body as such. They have given a framework. Within the framework, we can adopt the methodology which is more suitable to us. So with this introduction to my session, let me get into the session outcomes. The session outcomes over here is choose an appropriate attainment levels to decide the outcome of the attainment based on the scientific reasons. So what matters a lot, that is we have seen over the period of time, when the statutory bodies are going to visit, they are more interested to see that is what is the rationale behind the methodology which we have adopted, rather than the statistical tools and technique or software that has been used. So if you are having a robust reason for the methodology which we have adopted, we'll be in a better position. So that is the first expected outcome of this session. At the same time, second one is to determine the attainment of a course or program to take further action by the application of scientific method. Means after attainment, what is the gap analysis or how to improve upon that. So these are the two session outcomes. Now let us start with the assessment methodology which we can opt for in our course. So as you are aware, one of the most prominent methodology is nothing but internal assessment. So every college is having its own internal assessment tools and techniques. You can adopt anything. The second most critical assessment tool as per the statutory body, which they have exclusively stated in most of the document, is assignment. So assignment should be a part of assessment methodology over here. That's why I've kept it separately. And I'll explain why assignment is very critical. Of course, in the NBA document pertaining to management, is they have not categorically specified what type of assignment should be given. However, if you look at the NBA document related to engineering and undergraduate degrees, they have specified that it should be from the perspective of complex engineering problem. Probably you have to term it as complex management issues or problem. So they expect assignment should be from the perspective of higher level of Bloom's level. So in the sense, first two levels of Bloom's level, that is remember and understanding, should be prohibited at least for the undergraduate level. So that is what they mean. So if you look at from your perspective, that is management course, it should be from the level 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in the sense, we need to make sure that assignments are not only from the perspective of Bloom's level, it is also from the complex management issues, from the perspective of complex management issues. So in that way, we need to set the assignment. That is what they mean. Coming to the last one, it is other assessment technique. It might be a 1-minute paper or quiz, or you can say something related to group discussion or seminar, not exclusive seminars, a seminar associated with your subject, and project-based learning, problem-based learning, or experiential learning, whatever terminology you are able to use, you can have it. Now you can make sure that if required only, then these project-based learning, problem-based learning can be a part of your internal assessment to be given to the final assessment, which is going to reflect in your marks card. Now, when we are there in the affiliated system, autonomous system is not a big deal, but on the affiliated system, we need to send a mark, a group of marks to the affiliated university, saying that this is the internal mark. Then there they are going to add the external examination mark. Then they are able to get the final marks for the student. So now we want to differentiate between the attainment and marks. Attainment doesn't marks the affiliated university or autonomous university marks that need to be reflected in the marks card, not necessary that should follow the quizzes or project-based learning, problem-based learning, any other tools. However, in the attainment calculation, these are all prominent tools to make sure that our attainment is more robust. That's why we are able to play with the weightage that we are going to give. In the later part, I'm going to explain. The weightage can be given either 60% to internal or external, however we want. If we are going to give more weightage to the external examination, then we have to have a scientific reason or robust base to prove that our assessment methodology is much superior. That's why we are going to give more weightage to the external examination. So in that perspective, I must put it across that the marks to be reflected on the mark sheet or grade card not necessarily be included the other assessment technique. So with this understanding, let us proceed. So when I'm going to compile all the things together, I'm going to say that it is a formative assessment. Now, as I have explained earlier, for your grade card, you can either go for internal assessment and assignment only. You can exclude other assessment technique if required. That is the decision to be taken at the management level of a particular college. Once you are going to have the formative assessment, then I'm going to have the summative assessment. Now, the summative assessment, we are going to get it from the external examination. Now, if the institution is affiliated one, it will be having challenges to get the the attainment value or any value related to each question. As you are aware, the affiliated system in most of the cases, or even to a certain extent in the autonomous system also, the examination section won't give the marks from the perspective of COs, rather than they were going to give the marks as a whole. So in such cases, calculating attainment will be challenging. However, if your university or the autonomous institution examination section is going to give the marks, then it will be more specific. The attainment calculations are more specific, and it is having greater meaning than the other one. So when as formative assessment, which is that is internal evaluation, and the summative assessment, the final examination evaluation, are going to come together, then we are going to say that direct attainment. Now please note that here we are not using any survey or opinion over here. That's why we are going to say that is direct attainment. Now when I am going to use the survey, there are different varieties of survey you can adopt as per your requirement, as per the requirement of the college or statutory requirement or accreditation, like from the perspective of NAC, you can adopt, or from the perspective of NBA. So different surveys are possible. But the bottom line over here is when you are going to add the CO direct attainment and the survey together, we are going to say that it is the PO attainment. So with this, we are able to get a framework of the CO attainment and PO attainment. So now let us get into the each and every individual aspects of this. Now, this is the statement. This is the not exact statement. This is the general statement that they have given in the NBA document more specifically. However, if you look at very carefully the ENAC self-assessment report or their document, nowhere they have specifically mentioned what should be the attainment level or how the attainment level should be calculated. So you will be having more information related to this only in the NBA document, or if you go to certain extent, the government of Karnataka has released way back in 2015 a document related to the diploma colleges. In that document, they have specified some sort of calculation which they can adopt, and they have mentioned that it is a suggestive one they can adopt, or they can modify however they want. But this is the framework they have given for the attainment calculation in the NBA document. Now you can see here there are two critical things. One is I have mentioned here the common thing, that is 60% everywhere in level 1, level 2, level 3. You can even go for level 4 and 5 also. That is left to the institution. But if you are going to have more and more level, the complexity of assessment procedure are going to become more challenging. Now you can see here attainment level, 60% of the students are going to score more than or equal to the 60% of the maximum marks. In the second level, you can see 70% of the students are going to score more than or equal to the 60% of the maximum marks. And level 3, 80% of the students are going to score more than or equal to 60% of the maximum marks. Now the rounded values, that is 60%, which is common across 3 levels, matters a lot. Now you can ask a question saying that why we cannot go for 50% or 30% or even 70%. Let me put it across. If you are going for 50%, then the way in which we are going to assess the students are not so robust. They might claim that your intention is to aim the second class, because 50% of the maximum marks more or less corresponds to second class. So in such cases, defending our system will be very challenging. Rather than if you're going to place 60%, then we can project that our aim is to make sure that we are going to elevate all the students to the first class level. That's why we have kept 60% of the maximum marks. However, on the other side, you can see over here, let me go to pointer. You can see here other side that 60%, 70%, 80%, which is going to vary. Now you can play with this value depending upon your requirement. If you feel that 60% of the students are not going to get good marks, then it will be less than that. It will be almost nearer to 0. In such cases, we won't be able to get any attainment, especially where there are mathematical, statistical related subjects. Students are finding it challenging to score good marks. But across the institution, if you're going to have a same attainment level, that is more reliable. So you can go for either 50%, 60% or 70%, however you want. But more or less what we can do here is we can keep the magnitude between the levels are same. I have seen some places they are going for 50%, then they are going to for 60%, suddenly they will jump into 80%. So if there is a specific reason for the change of magnitude between level 1 and level 2, then we can defend. So now the colleges have to come to a conclusion. What should be the common value, whether it's a first class or second class or so on? What should be the thing which they would like to specify? Even we can go for 55%. There is no hard and fast rule that there should be a round figure as well here. On the other side, you can go for 60, 70, and 80. As per the historical data, you can come to a conclusion which is most preferable one. I'll just stop here. If there is any doubt related to this level, please let me know. Shall I proceed, madam?
Hello.
Yeah, madam.
So can you please again explain this? Like I'm little confused about this level.
Okay. So what we have to do, initially we have to fix one common value. It might be like this might resemble first class or second class or distinction, whatever it may be. Now 60%, which is the common value, is going to resemble a first class, which is the aim or objective of our assessment methodology. You can modify to 50% also, but should be common. This value should be common, so which is going to become benchmark. Now on the other side, you can vary 50%, 60% or 70%, or else whatever I have shown here, 60%, 70%, 80%, or 70, 80, 90. But the only thing, magnitude, if it is the magnitude, the gap between the like variation, if they are same, then it is more robust. So that is the meaning of these levels.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay.
So one more question. Is the level is only for the after completing PO attainment or every course, every semester wise?
This is for every CO, madam. For every CO, we have to calculate. Yes, madam. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on. Now, of course, you can use the different types of software to calculate it. However, at the moment in our college, we are using only the Excel sheet, and in fact, not Excel sheet, Google sheet we are going to use for the sake of calculation. Now, let me explain what and all there here. And you can see here USN number of students, then the name of the student. Then over here, you can see at the top IA1, which is nothing but internal assessment 1. So you can have n number of tools and technique which you are going to use. At the same time, you can see here COs mapped. Every subject is being mapped to at least 3 to 4 COs, as you are aware. Now this is the CO, this is the course code, that is 10 Mat 31 is a mathematics subject, third semester, first subject. So that is what 10 and 1. Whereas 0.1 is going to represent CO1. Means this is the same subject, CO1, then you can see this is CO4, CO4, CO5, and so on. So I hope you understood the point after point, whatever the values are there, that is actually is going to represent the CO number. Now after that, I don't know whether the most of the colleges are going to follow TLO or not. Topic learning objectives, or in some cases they are going to say the simply objectives. In that perspective, if you want to distill down, or if you want to go for a micro level, you can. So now it is first TLO, sorry, first CO, first TLO. This is the first CO, second TLO. This is the first CO, third TLO. So in the sense, there is one specific CO. You are going to divide that CO into 3 different parts, so that assessment will be simple for you. And each TLO, that is topic learning outcome, will be mapped to a CO. That CO is being mapped to APO. Now, it is up to the college whether they would like to go for TLO level, or they would like to stick to the things at the CO level itself. So let me go for the next level. So this is the CO. As you can see, numbers are common. That common number is going to indicate that it is a specific CO's TLO. You can see fourth CO in that first TLO, because that is 4.1. So in that perspective, we have written a value just for the coding purpose. Now you can see question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, and question number 5. In the sense, there are 5 questions in the internal assessment, and every question is being mapped not only to the TLO, it is being mapped to CO also. Now this CO and TLOs can be specified in your question paper, or it can be internal matter for your calculation purpose. What matters a lot here is, in the first internal question paper, the first question has been posed for 13 marks. The second question was posed for 6 marks. Third one for 6 marks, fourth one for 12 marks, and fifth one for 13 marks. So this is the structure of the question paper and respective marks. Now our attainment level come into the picture. Now I will write what is attainment level. As you are aware, let me go back over here. The attainment level, what we have defined is 60% of the students are going to score more than or equal to 60% of the maximum marks. So everywhere the maximum mark, the benchmark is nothing but 60%. So let me see here, if it is 13 is the maximum mark, then what is the 60% of it? Now I will write a equation to it. So 60% of 13 is nothing but, you can see here, 7.8. So now my value is, I want to see how many students have scored more than or equal to 7.8, which is 60% of the maximum marks. So this is the equation which I have written. When I have opted for that equation, then I came to know that 69.81% of the students have scored more than or equal to 7.8 marks for the question number 1. Then I am going to write the level, because I know the level 60 to, sorry, let me go back to the level once so that it will be more clear for you. So 60 to 70, it is level 1. 70 to 80 it is level 2, and 80 and above it is level 3. So that's why now I will write the level 1. As you can see, sorry, you can see here level 1 I have written manually. So through the equation we'll be able to get only this value. However, I have tried the level for 69, which is between 60 to 70, it is level 1. In a similar manner, if I go for question number 3, the question number 3 was asked for 6 marks. Out of 6, the 60% of the 6 is nothing but 3.6 marks. So now when I'm going to apply the equation, I will come to know that 63% of the students have scored more than or equal to 3.6 marks. So then it is level 1. In the similar manner, if I go for this, let us say over here 13, I have applied the same equation. Using the equation, I found that the percentage of the students who have scored more than 60% of the maximum marks is nothing but 76.56. Then I am going to enter manually, it is nothing but level 2. So in this way, for each and every question, I am going to calculate the levels and I am going to enter it over here. So of course, we are going to, when you are going to migrate into a software, you have to tell the backend calculation which you are going to prefer, so that they are able to write the code for that. So just stop for a while, and if there is any specific doubt, please let me know. This is only for internal assessment, what I am showing you. Any doubt? Madam, not able to hear you.
So far, no any questions in the chat. No any hands are also being raised.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. So we can continue.
Yeah. It's very clear.
Okay.
Can go.
So next, let us say we are going for assignment. Same procedure need to be adopted even for the assignment. If you are going to ask for 5 marks, let us say 60% of the maximum should be taken into account. And here sometimes I have seen that students are going to get good marks in assignment. That's why level are always in a higher side, level 3. Now same procedure even will be adopted for the survey. Sorry, it's not a survey, it's 1 minute paper, sorry. So even for 1 minute paper, like 1 minute paper or quiz or project based learning, problem based learning, whatever you want, you can make sure that the bottom line is same, in the sense metric of measurement which you are going to use will be same across all the tools and technique. Not only for that, probably you had a session on rubrics today morning, as per the schedule, that is what I learned. So even for the rubrics, once you are going to convert the qualitative into quantitative, even for that, you can preferably apply the same metric of measurement. The very important point is whichever tool you are going to use, the methodology will be same. Means 60% of the students are going to score more than or equal to 60% of the marks, 70% of the marks, so on. So methodology will be same across all the tools. That is what very important for our calculation. Now coming to the formative assessment, let us say you are having multiple tools, multiple methodology. At the end, we want to summarize it and we would like to culminate it with a single point. Now, as you have explained, this is a subject code 10 Mat 31, a mathematical subject code for engineering students. Point 1 over here, which has been represented or mentioned, it is the CO1. You can see CO2 of that particular subject, CO3, CO4 and CO5. Now this CO number 1 has been split into 3 different TLOs, topic learning outcome. You can skip or you can prefer this. We have suggested to our faculty members to have this particular level of micro assessment, so that the question will relate directly, or question paper setting will be quite simple for them, or else they have to contemplate on that and they have to see which type of question can be set. So in a much simpler way, I can say TLO is nothing but your question paper statement straight away. If you would like to pose a question in that way, you can write it so that it is more clear for you which type of question you need to pose and in which tools and technique, which methodology you would like to pose. So now we can see first TLO has been assessed through two different types of tools. One is internal assessment, other one is 1 minute paper. You can add quiz, assignment, seminar, whatever you want. In the similar manner, second TLO is being assessed through two different tools, that is internal assessment and 1 minute paper. Whereas 1.3, that is third TLO of first CO, is being assessed only by one internal assessment tool. The point I would like to make here is every TLO can be assessed at least with one assessment tool. But if you are going to skip the TLO and you want to only map it to the CO and the assessment, make sure that every CO is being assessed at least by two different tools and techniques, or else the robustness of that assessment will come down. Now we can see I'm going to put it across all the values here. I'm going to take the value or just retrieve the values that, as you are aware, I have explained in the internal assessment 1. The first TLO was asked for 13 marks. I'm going to put it across here. Then in the 1 minute paper, it was asked for 2 marks. So on, I'm going to retrieve all the values across all the different assessment tools, and I'm going to put it across in this manner. Now I'm going to summarize 13 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 6, which corresponds to the total marks of 28. The meaning over here is the first CO, that is 10 MAT 31.1, has been asked or has been assessed for a total marks of 28 with different tools and techniques. Now I have to identify what is the weightage which I have given to each and every TLO. Now what I will do here is, after this, the maximum marks are nothing but 28, whereas the first question is being asked for 13 marks. So 13 divided by the total marks is nothing but 28, which corresponds 0.46. In the similar manner, I will go for 2 by 28, its value 0.07, 6 by 28, whose value is 0.21, 1 by 28, whose value is 0.04, and 6 by 28, whose value is 0.21. Together, when I'm going to sum it up, of course, it will be equal to 1. Now for every value, I have to identify what is the level of attainment over here. Now, what I have to do over here is go for the previous value. Let me go back to the values. Let me show you. First TLO, which was asked for 13 marks, level of attainment is 1. Now this level of attainment value I have to put it over here. In the similar manner, if I go back to 1.1, that is OMP, which was asked for 2 marks. Let me go for OMP, 1 minute paper. You can see in the 1 minute paper 1.1, which was asked for 2 marks and which is actually 0. Now I am going to give the attainment as 0. So these attainment values should be retrieved from the previous calculation. We have to put it over here. So once we are going to put across the weightage which we have given for each and every assessment tool and the attainment value which we are going to retrieve from the previous calculation, I will go for a weighted average methodology. So you can go for anything, even just average also. But since we have given variation in the marks over here, you can see 13, 2 or so on, it's better to go to the micro level, so that when we are going to normalize the things, the value which we are going to get having more meaning than just summarizing. So now we can see 1 into 0.46 plus 0 into 0.07 plus 1 into 0.21 plus 3 into 0.04 plus 1 into 0.21 divided by the weightage, all the weightage altogether when I'm going to add, then I'm going to get a value equal to 1. In the same manner, I have to calculate the total marks here, retrieve the weightages from the previous calculation, then multiply the weightage with the attainment value and get the value of total attainment. Now in this way, you are able to calculate the total attainment value for each and every CO. So let me stop here. If there is any specific question, please let me know.
So sorry, sir. Actually, you already mentioned, but I just missed it, sir. This TLO number. So what is this TLO, sir?
Madam, this is the next level. Like you are going to split COs into two different matters or two objectives. So that is going to become TLOs, madam. If you want, you can split. CO is a single statement, correct now, madam? Say for example, let me go back to my COs over here. So let us say this is my CO. Choose an appropriate attainment levels to decide the outcome of attainment based on scientific reason. So this CO can be split into two different aspects, which is going to become the essence of it. And I'm going to say this is nothing but topic learning outcome 1, topic learning outcome 2. Means, let us say if this is the aim in our research question, then there are two research questions I'm going to put or objectives I'm going to put. Just I'm going to split. Some colleges are going to follow topic learning outcome. Some they won't follow. Straight away, they will get into CO. What they feel is if we are going to split into more TLOs or more micro level, then of course assessment is going to become challenge. Like in a layman language, I can say yes, faculty members are going to have a huge burden because at micro level we have to do the assessment. For every TLO should be assessed. Let us say one CO is there which is having 6 TLOs, 6 TLOs. 6 times I have to assess. If you are having only one CO and you have not defined anything, you can culminate with 3 assessment tools over. But the good part of TLO is if you are going to split it down, then it is more specific and you are able to include this one in the internal assessment, and which is not possible in the internal assessment, we can go for assignment. Now, as I said earlier, especially NBA is expecting complex management problems, complex management issues. And of course, we are aware that complex problems cannot be discussed in the question paper, internal assessment, because time is not sufficient. And outcome-based education demands the activities beyond the classroom. So that's why we have to design our assignment in that perspective, or problem-based learning or case studies, whatever may be. So in such cases, if you're having more TLOs, it will be more specific. I'll show you at the end how the TLO can be written for a specific CO.
Sir, there is a question asked.
Yeah.
Sir, there is a question asked by Dr. Divya. Some topics in syllabus we are not exactly able to map a specific CO. Sometimes the same CO is linked to various topics. What should be done?
No, as per my understanding, the management institutions are having 6 COs, correct, no, madam? 3 as per the statutory norms and 3 you're going to define as PSOs, right? So what you need to do is the thumb rule which I have suggested to my faculty member is make sure that every CO is mapped to minimum 2 POs, minimum 2 POs. The rationale behind this is if you are going to map to only one PO, then we can, or some people can argue that your CO is not, your CO is being mapped to only one PO whose contribution is less. If that is the case, we need to redefine our COs to make sure that it's going to contribute to n number of POs. On the other side, some faculty members or the auditors are going to argue with the point that even though this particular CO has been, a particular CO can be mapped to all the POs, why you have mapped to only 1 or 2 POs? That is the pertinent question they are going to ask. As per them, it should have been mapped to everything. So over the period of time, we have received such questions from the statutory bodies or auditors. Our answer to it was, we are able to map it to n number of POs, but the challenge is always to do the assessment of it. every every PO demands a different types of assessment. Say for example, if there is any ethical component is involved in a particular PO, we need to assess from the perspective of ethics, and ethics cannot be assessed through internal assessment. We need to have a rubrics to it, and which can be posed only through the external assignments. So answer to your question, madam, preferably we can go for maximum 2 mapping for a particular CO, not more than that. If they're going to ask, you can you can defend in this manner, because Bloom's level also demands, say for example, in your case, it's not so severe because the POs are not defined from the perspective of Bloom's level. If you go to the engineering college POs, first 4 POs, you just look at the first 4 POs. That is the last 4 levels of Bloom's level: apply, analyze, create, and develop. Straight away, nowhere you will find a PO which is written from the perspective and remember and understand. That is not there, because that is not written by mistake. They have written with the intention that the undergraduate degree and postgraduate degree should not concentrate on the lower level of POs. Bloom's level. So I hope you understood. Like bottom line is, you go for 2 mapping for every CO.
So there's one more.
Yeah.
Sorry. So there's one more question, sir. There were those 3 levels which you had shown on one of the slides, above 60%. So those 3 levels.
Yeah.
60, 70, and 80.
Yes, madam. 1 minute.
So that is a standard rule, like irrespective of the faculty.
Yeah, madam. This is not a standard rule, but statement is almost standard. If you look at from the perspective of accreditation, NAC won't define what is PO and what should be the level of calculation. This is more required from the perspective of NBA only, madam. Only in the NBA document you will see that statement. This is the statement you are able to see.
Because we are from the technical faculty, sir, from the MCA part. So the NBA accreditation manual which we are following is since 2013. That has not been changed.
MCA,
so,
right, madam.
Yes,
right.
That does not mention all this. So we had taken for our accreditation purposes our own set of judgment for it.
Madam, probably that's what even in our college we have applied for MCA. That is the same hurdle we had. When I communicated with the NBA higher authorities, they said that we can follow the new assessment methodology for the OBE, which is being defined for the rest of the people.
Noted, sir.
And so what if we are...
Dr. Poonam.
Pardon, madam, not able to.
Sir, in continuation with what Dr. Vinita ma'am right now asked, so am I audible?
Yeah, madam, yeah, please.
Sir, if we do not adopt this method, whereas we adopt the method in which we divide the students into 3 levels, like, students achieving marks between this to this, and like, let's say between 50 to 60%, between 60% to 70%, and 70% and above. And then we take weighted average of the number of students in these 3 different levels. Is that not applicable?
Possible, madam. There is no hard and fast rule. That's what I said. Even if you dig deeper into the research in this area, none of the research paper categorically specifying this is the methodology to be followed. So that's why they have kept it open. Only one document is an NBA process manual, NBA. So this is the statement they are given. But when we have witnessed 3 or 4 cycles of NBA visit in our college, everybody is having their own opinion. They won't look at the process manual. And whatever type of methodology you're going to adopt, of course, there will be counter question, like asking, this is not proper one. So in that perspective, I can say it's not about the type of methodology which I am going to adopt. It is the rationale behind the methodology which we are going to have it. If you are going to have a strong proof or rationale, it is more than sufficient. From the statutory requirement or from the documentation purpose, what I would like to recommend is make sure that these methodologies have been approved at the IQS level at least. So then you can say that these have been discussed and it has been approved by the IQAC, which consists of different academicians, industry people. So they have approved it. So if there is any suggestion, we can adopt. In that sense, we can defend, madam.
Okay. So one more question then. If in case we switch our attainment level calculation, PO attainment calculation now, so and we have been doing it in a different manner before, and if we do it in this manner now, so is there any problem over there? Because then when you are doing comparison between PO attainment levels of two batches, it becomes senseless a little bit because the methodology to calculate POs for both the batches was different. So does it raise any issues if we change the method?
Not necessarily, madam. Then you can say that we are not going to compare for the sake of this reason. Because the only thing you cannot compare. But there is one more way in which you are going to calculate, madam, as you are going to mention here. The point number one, whether you would like to do this one for the batch or whether you would like to go for dynamically. That is also there. The one which I am explaining at the moment, you can convert into batch also. But in our college, we are not calculating for the batch as such. We are calculating dynamically. But the notion behind this methodology, which we have adopted, not like dynamically we are going to calculate, is we cannot wait for the improvement for 4 years, like for the engineering students. If any fine tuning is required, we would like to adopt every year. So, and in every year we are going to present the attainment calculation in the IQAC and different bodies. Immediately their suggestion will be incorporated. So we would like to do the improvement every year. That is what we mean. But most of the colleges I have seen around 60 to 70% of the colleges are also preferring other way, where for the batch they are going to calculate and batch wise they are going to compare the attainment. That is also possible, madam.
Okay.
Especially, yeah, madam. NBA college, like MBA management institutions, the gap is very short since 2 years. You can go for batch wise. Comparison is quite simple then.
And so this which we are talking about 60% of maximum marks. So can we have this different, you although did talk about changing this, but for the same, this thing, like for example, internal examination, we can keep it as 60%. And for university examination, we can keep it as 50%. Is that also possible?
No, madam, no. Because that metric of measurement should be same, or else the value which you are going to get, finally it won't reflect the actual outcome of it.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir, I get it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
But only thing what you can do, if there are different programs in your department, like MBA in one area, MBA in IEV, so on, then probably for program wise you can have different types of metric of measurement. But within a program should be same. In fact, in our college, we have made sure that across the department, same metric of measurement is followed. So that when we are going to present it before the IQAC, where different types of departments are involved, they won't be having any confusion to compare different attainment level across the department.
Okay, got it, sir. Got it.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, ma'am.
Regarding this slide? Yeah, one thing is my two questions. One thing, that's 60% of this maximum marks. So what is the criteria, on what basis that 60% is decided? And second thing, I think you just now gave answer for that query, that can we change it depending upon the subject difficulty and the type of students, the different level of the learners?
Yeah, like giving you the answer to the last question about different metric of measurement for the different subject. Usually I won't suggest you to go for that, because the same issue has arisen when we basically adopted this model. Then we come to a conclusion that between the subject there is no variation in the pass mark. The pass mark is, even though the level of difficulty is same, the pass mark is a 40 across the subjects. So that's why we have come to a conclusion that whatever may be the level of difficulty, every subject should adopt the same metric of measurement. That is what we finalized, madam.
But sir,
Preferably,
that
yeah.
okay. But then that can be different. Or if we see the result, previous records and all,
Yes.
depending upon the difficulty level of the subject, if we
Yes.
keep target high, would it not be difficult to achieve then?
No, madam. Target you can change. Say, for example, a financial management subject is there. You can keep target as 1. However, in some other subject, organization behavior, you can keep the target as 2. Now, you are getting the attainment and you are going to compare the attainment with the target which you have specified. So now what matters is the gap between the target and the attainment value and the measure that you are going to take to improve upon that. So even I have seen in the 3 different cycles of accreditation over here, they are not much bothered about the number which we are going to get. They are bothered about what is the action we have taken to improve or to bridge the gap. So in that sense, madam, I prefer that in between the subject, you can have different types of benchmark. And 1 minute only. I'll be back 1 minute. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any more question, madam?
Sir, no more questions, nor in the chat.
First question forgotten, madam.
Ma'am, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, sir. I just wanted to ask, you have decided that 60%, no? So this is based on the previous results?
No,
And this
madam.
is uniform overall for all
Yeah,
subjects, all streams.
Like notion over here is to make sure that student will be elevated to the first class level. That is 60% of the maximum marks. The for the what I can say mapping, you are going to give mapping 1, 2, 3 initially before calculation. For that sake, you can take the historical data to understand in this particular subject what is the level of attainment, or you can take a value based on that. However, this is purely to what level you would like to elevate the student.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, no more questions in the chat. No hands are raised. We can continue, sir.
Yes, madam. Now, once we have done with formative assessment, we are coming for summative assessment. Now, one of the challenge in autonomous or in some cases of affiliated system, we won't be getting the marks for each CO. However, we used to get in the formative assessment over here. So in that case, we have to simply generalize. If the examination section or controller of examination is going to give the marks as per CO, the same methodology can be followed, or else you can simply generalize. And but the methodology is same. That is 60% of the students are going to score 60% of the maximum marks. Now, out of 100 is 60. So that's why I have written the equation, and which has come out as 72.51%. So level is 2. So now I have generalized it since I am not able to get the CO wise marks. So then I am combining this formative assessment and summative assessment. You can see formative assessment for the first CO. Let me go back. It was 1, and the summative assessment was 2. I have written over here. For the second CO, it was 1.3. Let me go back and show you. It is 1.3, 1.81, 2.03, and 1.11. So those values, I'm going to put it across over here. However, the summative assessment value won't vary if I'm not going to get the values for each and every COs. Now, the last point is how much weightage that I would like to give for the formative assessment and summative assessment. The statutory bodies I have recommended that it should not be more than 50% each. If you are going for 40, 60, that is also fine. Most of the colleges are preferring nowadays 50% each from the strategic perspective. 50% for the formative assessment and 50% for the summative assessment. But only point here is, if you are going to give for 50% for the formative assessment, one of the prominent question from the auditors are nothing but what is the robustness of your formative assessment tool. How you are going to say that your assessment tool is not biased, which is equivalent to the final examination. So in that sense, I have to prove that whatever weightage I am going to give is 50% is having a rational behind that, scientific reason is there, and my assessment is robust. Then I can defend myself. So now let us say 50% each, then I am going to get the total attainment value. So at the moment for this one, I have shown here 20% weightage for the formative assessment and 80% weightage, let us say, for the summative assessment. With that, I will be able to get a value which is nothing but total attainment for a particular CO. After that, I will go for course and survey. Now, whatever we have done so far, it is with respect to the COs, that is direct attainment. The total attainment we have got, that is formative assessment as well as summative assessment. So let me go back to my framework here so that I can show you to what extent we have reached. Now we have gone for internal assessment, assignment, other assessment tool with which I was able to get the formative assessment. Then from the formative assessment, I have clubbed with the summative assessment with which I was able to get the CO direct attainment. Now I have to use the survey to get the PO attainment. Now let me go for that. Now you can go for different types of survey with a different Likert scale as per your requirement. Now we are using 2 or 3 different varieties of survey. The first survey, which is at the course level, is course end survey. Means we need to take the survey with respect to every course or subject. The second type of survey you can go for the semester end survey, where the questions are written not from the perspective of COs, should be written from the perspective of POs. So let me go for course end survey. Now questions for the course and survey more or less resembling the COs straight away, because we are going to have indirect question related to the CO which we have defined. Now let us say there are 5 questions related to 5 COs that we have defined. Then I am going to get the values. But what is very important is, if I am going for the 5-point Likert scale, then 3 and above can be considered, because 60% of the maximum marks. That is what I mean here. So we can see now I will be considering only the 60% of the maximum, means level 3, 4 and 5, means the ratings of 1 and 2. 1 and 2 rating I won't be considering. I will be considering 3 and above, which will be equal to 17 plus 2 to 12 plus 6. So now 70% of the students have given rating above 3 and above. So that's why I have given the attainment level 2. In the similar manner, let us say CO number 2 has been asked through 2 different questions, question number 2 and question number 3. In the previous case, you can see one CO has been asked with 1 question right away. Here we have split. It is left to the course coordinator. Now once again I have to see what is the average. Now it has come 65%, so that's why I'll write it is 1. In a similar manner, for each and every question I am going to write, and I will be able to get the corresponding attainment value. So in this way, actually we were able to quantify the surveys. So same methodology can be followed for another survey called semester end survey. Now the difference between course end survey and semester end survey is quite simple. Course end survey, the survey questions are asked from the perspective of COs. Just we would like to know this is the expected outcome, have you attained it or not? So then they are going to rate. Whereas the course end survey, semester end survey will be from the perspective of POs. There are components or competencies that have been defined in the POs. From that perspective, I am going to ask the question, have you attained this competency or not? Then that is going to become semester end survey. So which also can be used for further calculation. Now You can see here the direct attainment table. I'll keep all the things aside. Now I'll plug in the values. Now 1.8, these are the two values which I want to put it across. Suppose if it is been mapped at this point, let us say I have given, let us say, value over here as 3 earlier or 2 somewhere over here, means this is simply mapping. In that mapping spot, I am going to write whatever value I have got. So let us say for the CO1 I have got 1.8, that 1.8 I am going to write it here. So the 2 more I am going to get 1.86, that I am going to write. In that way, in the respective spot, of course, you don't have this much POs which is defined for the undergraduate courses. You will be having only till 6 POs. So within this table, we are able to map it. Now, once you are going to map, there are two options. Either you can take the average of all these things, or you can take the highest value. Like in the game theory, in the operational research, what we are going for, highest value can be opted. In one of the document which I observed in the NBA, in the PPT given by Professor Sahasrabuddhe, he has recommended, instead of going for average, to go for highest value within this particular column. The reason behind his suggestion was, say for example, a PO has been defined as a communication skill. In a communication skill, in a particular assessment, if he was elevated to the level of 1.96, not necessary that he has to be dragged down to the average. So that is the meaning of that. So that's why there are two options. One is take the average of all these three values, or else select the maximum value, whichever you want. So that is going to become the PO attainment for each and every POs that has been defined in your department. So previously we have seen COs. From the COs, I am going to put the values in the respective mapping position, the mapping table which you have created. Then I am going to take either the average or the maximum value. Then from there, I'll be able to get the PO attainment. Please note, it is a direct attainment, not the final attainment. I won't say that it is a total attainment, it is simply the direct attainment. When this direct attainment will be clubbed with the different types of surveys, then we are going to say that is the total attainment. Now you can see this is the spot. Let us say this is the spot for my subject. In the respective spot, I have written the values. Now actually this is the benchmark values. 3, supposed to be 3, but I have attained only 1.8. Now comparison is going to start. Then I am going to measure the gap and I am going to take the action. That is for the later stage. So I hope you understood about how to calculate the PO attainment for each and every subject. Now let me proceed. The PO attainment values for the indirect attainment. You can see here indirect attainment, that is course and survey. Now in the previous slide you have probably observed, we have got the values 2. So in the same spot is same, I'll be writing the value 2. Here I am going to write value 1 because this was the spot where I have mapped. In the similar manner, either I will take the average or I will take the maximum value. Then I am going to get the indirect attainment for every PO. So previous slide is about direct attainment for POs, and this slide is about indirect attainment for POs. Now we need to club direct and indirect attainment together to get the total attainment for POs. Now this is the final table. In the table you can see here direct attainment value I have written, indirect attainment value I have given. So I'll be able to get the PO attainment for particular subject direct and here indirect. So you can dashboard can be changed however you want. This is the dashboard of our all the calculation what we have done so far. From there I'll be going for overall attainment. As I said, direct attainment value, indirect attainment value, you can split n number of indirect attainment value. At the moment we are going for course end survey, then we are going for semester end survey. There are some institutions going for graduate survey after their graduation, let us say 1 or 2 years, especially not more than that. Then some colleges are also going for the surveys based on the events they are going to conduct. If you are going to have national level of event for the student or some outbound training you have offered for the students, from there also they are going to take the survey into account. So the point here is n number of surveys can be added together to get the PO attainment, total attainment. But the very important point is for the indirect attainment, meaning is the survey, the weightage should be less because this is opinion based. However, the direct attainment should be given more weightage. So in most of the document they have specified in a range of 80 to 20%, means 80% for the direct attainment, 20% for the indirect attainment. None of the document have gone beyond 20% because it is an opinion based indirect assessment. So they have stick to 20% only. Now we can see here all the subjects. This is first semester, first subject, second semester, second subject, so on. You can keep however you want. Let us see, these are the number of subjects, not a specific subject, n number of subject in the entire program of MBA, and I'm going to put it across, and I'm going to get the total attainment for each and every POs. Then I'm going to add the indirect assessment. That is for each and every course and survey. For every course, there is a course and survey. I'm going to add it here. So I'm going to get, let us say, we are going to take the average over here. We are going to get the final value. Then those values should be pulled here for the specific PO, direct attainment, another indirect attainment, which is nothing but course and survey, another indirect assessment, which is semester and survey. You can keep on adding n number of rows here, which is going to represent n number of surveys. But the point here is direct attainment should be given more weightage. Here we are given 80%. However, rest of the things should be accommodated within 20%. So if there are two surveys, you can give 10% each, or 15% and 5%, or let us say you're having graduate survey and some other surveys, then you can say that 5% each for surveys. But altogether, the thumb rule is not more than 20% for the indirect measures. So with that, I'll be able to get the overall attainment. So we are going to term it as overall attainment for a particular PO. And this overall attainment will be projected, let us say, in the IQSC meeting, and then you're going to compare between the batches or between the years, and then you're going to take a holistic measure how to improve this particular PO. So in this way, we are able to get the PO attainment. And finally, you can see here, there's not necessary that you have to stick to only 3 levels. Even you can prefer 5 levels. This is the straight away statement from the NBA document. They have written in the SAR that you can prefer 5 level also. But the challenge in the 5 level is calculation is more, complexity is more, work is more. So of course, precision is much better in a 5 level attainment scale rather than a 3 level attainment scale. This is all about actually the attainment calculation. I'm open for the question over here.
Yes, any questions we have for sir? So far, no questions in chat or anyone has not raised their hand. So we can continue.
Yeah. No, actually.
Sir, Dr. Kajal has raised her hand. Just a minute. Yes, Dr. Kajal, you can ask your question. Dr. Kajal.
I have a question. For indirect survey, is there any strategy to be stick on to?
No, madam. Actually, we are following 5-point Likert scale for the questionnaire. And what we have suggested to our faculty member to keep the things more simple is just to try to convert your COs into a question so that you will be able to understand what is the opinion of the student, madam. And this will be done through the respective course coordinator. Course coordinator is the person who is going to teach that particular subject. Semester end survey will be provided through the department level. If there is a departmental coordinator for that, let us say for the NBA or NAC, so that coordinator will take care of that because that is holistic one, not with respect to a specific subject. So in the semester end survey, what you can do is you can see what is your POs, and based on that PO, you can ask either 2 questions for every PO or single question.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for sir? Yes, Professor Sean. Yes, sir. You can unmute yourself and ask your query. Sean, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to ask, you had shown the slide of that 60% of the three levels that you had shown. So the 60, 70, that bifurcation that you had made, on what basis did you do that?
This is our internal reasoning, sir. There is no specific
Okay,
basis.
so we can change it. Like, for example, in the first semester, now we have the subject of organizational behavior. So when we
Yes.
go to the second semester, that is not going to continue in second semester. So now, so we have to start another assessment for the next subject, right? There's no linkage between subjects as such.
No, sir. This is not related to subject. This is what the stand you are going to take for all the subjects. This is the metric. Like say, for example, this is the pass mark.
Right.
So once you are going to take the accord from the IQSC, then at least you retain for 3 to 4 years. I would say that not less than 3 years, because once we are going to have every for 3 years or 5 years, if there is an accreditation, make sure that this will be followed for quite a number of years.
Okay, so once the PO attainment is done at the end of the entire course that is there, so this targets that we have set up for ourselves, should that change or can that remain the same?
No, you can change, sir. If the attainment level is more than the target, let us say you have a target of 2, but you have attained 2.15 at the end, then you can change the target. 3, even not necessary that it should be whole number. You can make it next target is 2.5.
But there's no compulsion that you have to change it, right?
Nothing. But only thing, they will be expecting what is the measure you have taken when there is a gap. So there are two options. Say for example, you are not interested to change the target level. You can defend that. Our intention is to not to change the target level every year, because we are not sure the type of assessment methodology is sustainable or not, and we don't know the input quality of students. So our IQSA has suggested to change the target level for every 2 or 3 years, because once we are going to sustain, then you can change.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. No more questions. We can continue, sir.
Yeah, madam. Now I will show you the TLO, probably. That would be better for you. Sir, can you see my screen? Madam, can you see?
Yes, sir. We can see the screen.
Yeah, madam. So here course outcome have been written. And one more point is there is no hard and fast rule that you need to have only this number of COs. But in one of the document, that is only in the NBA document, they have mentioned around 6 COs. The exact word is around 6. So you can go for 4 or 5 or even 6. More than that also you can write, but preferably you can make sure that number of COs in a particular subject is not less than 6. Then now you can see this is for one subject called engineering management. You can see here the first CO is being split into TLOs. This is the CO number 1. That particular CO, first CO has been split into 4 TLOs. And for every TLO, I'm going to write the Bloom's level. And you can see here, this is the first CO which is being split into 4 level. This is already been written from the perspective of Bloom's level, and target also I have fixed. However, you can see here in my sheet, first TLO has been given level 3. This is also level 3. But at certain point of time, not necessarily that should be in the chronological order, but among this, at least one should be level 4, because ultimately it will match with the level 4 which I have defined here. Now, after that, I'm going to define what is my teaching methodology. Then I'm going to write what is my assessment methodology. So it will be more crisp and clear that this is the question I'm going to pose. And this is in this way I'll be able to assess in a more structured way. If I want to define only CO, then I have to contemplate every time what should be the type of question that I have to pose. If you are going to create a document like this, it's going to become a knowledge management system in your college, where anybody can use this particular sheet for the next semester subject, or when the subjects are repetitive, they can utilize it. So in this way, we are able to split the COs into the TLO. Then last part also I'll show you how we are going to put it across in the form of gap calculation. So sorry, this is course and survey questions. For every course, you can have a course and survey question, which is also going to become a part of your course file. Then you are able to pose it. One minute. So any more questions?
Sir, so far no questions or anything in the chat. Any questions? We are open for the questions now. Acha, sir, there is a question which is posted by Professor Sean. Could you please explain the target setting once again in brief?
Okay.
In brief, yeah.
There are two different methodologies actually for target setting. I'm not talking anything about attainment. One is taking the historical data and identifying to what extent students are capable of doing it. And this target is going to become 2 or 3 or so in that way. The second one is about this is like intuition based qualitative approach. The previous one which I have mentioned is quantitative approach. Now I will go for qualitative. The qualitative approach, okay, what you can make sure is, if you want to create the mastery level in particular CO, you can put it as 3. If your intention is to create only awareness for a particular CO, then you can put it as 1. Say for example, communication skill, technical communication skill. I don't want to create any mastery, but I want to create an awareness. What is a business communication? It will be 1. That is qualitative method, madam. One more method is there, purely quantitative. And some of the software they're going to follow. It is like purely technical. If there are 5 COs and 50 hours has been allotted for a particular subject, and let us say first subject is being given 20 hours, where rest of the subjects are first subject, first CO has been given 20 hours and rest of the COs are given only 10 hours. then the first CO target will be 20 by 50, or on the other way around also. Means the weightage you are going to give. Based on the weightage, you are going to get the target level. So I have explained 3 different varieties. One is based on the historical data, you are going to get the target level. Secondly, based on intuition, where either you are going to create mastery or awareness, 3 or 2 or 1. The third one purely based on the number of hours that have been devoted. Say for example, 20 hours have been devoted among 50, then you can take a call what is the weightage to it. But one caution is there, madam, here. If you are going for quantitative approach of defining the target level, the last one which I have mentioned, little bit challenging, which is not in line with the outcome-based education, because outcome-based education demands beyond the classroom activities. Even though you have allotted 20 hours for a particular subject, actually you are doing much more than that. So, madam, we cannot hear.
No, sir, we can continue. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So in the case of historical data, I've had an issue earlier wherein the previous batch of students over there were very good, because which my target was achieved, and we have put a higher target for the next the next course that is coming up. The issue what's happened is that the next batch that came in, they were not as bright as the previous ones. So that led to me not attaining my target in the current this thing. So is there any way of sort of fixing that?
Yes, sir. We can go for second method where you are going to fix based on your like subjective level. 3 means mastery, 2 means moderate, 1 means awareness. So in a particular first CO is communication skill. You don't want to create a mastery in the communication skill. You just want to create a moderate level. So you can fix 2. Then the only thing, this notion, whatever 1, 2, 3, 4 you are going to, that should have been taken approval from the IQAC. Then nobody is going to question, because this is the highest body as per the auditorial requirement.
Okay, so we just have to maintain a documentation of this particular justification approved by the IQAC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Any other questions? Yes, Dr. Swati. So you can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'd like to ask that you mentioned quantitative and qualitative measures. So is it like for particular criteria, like for writing exam, it's quantitative, and for other things, it's qualitative?
No,
or
madam.
it are just 2 methods we can use in everything?
Yeah, you can prefer any one method, and that should be the same method across the subject and across the department, because you're going to set the target, right? Any one method you have to opt, madam.
So can we change it like every semester, every program, or like we have to stick to one method only?
Preferably at least for one cycle of accreditation, madam.
Okay.
If you're going to keep on changing, then comparison will be difficult. The report writing will be challenging.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Poda, just a request, can we have this presentation which is given today shared with us? Is it possible?
Yeah.
If sir is sharing and if sir is permitting, we'll definitely share.
We'll share, madam. I will share.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any more questions for sir? I don't think so, sir. Any more questions participants have? Hello? Okay, with this, we come to the end of our today's 1 o'clock post-lunch session. On behalf of St. Francis Institute, we thank you, sir, for your such a wonderful informative session. And we have gained a lot of information how to do the mapping of our POs and COs, how to do the attainment of POs and COs, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and insightful session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the management and the coordinator for giving an opportunity to interact with the scholarly persons over here. Thanks a lot for posing the pertinent question, which has helped me to contemplate further on these issues. Probably I'll be able to gain more knowledge. Thanks and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We have posted the feedback link in the chat, as well as we have mailed to all the participants. Y'all can fill the feedback as per your ease. Also, we will be meeting now. We'll take a short break, and we will be meeting at 3 p.m. We will all be connected at 3 p.m. and my team and myself will be connected. That time slot is given to you all to work on your assignments and your projects. So you all can work on it, as well as the quiz instructions what we have sent yesterday. So you all can work at that time on those given tasks. And if in any queries, you all can be in touch with us. So me and my team will get connected at 3 p.m. So between 3 to 4 p.m., if any doubt queries, you all can ask the same. But we also request before you have any doubt queries, please go through the recordings, detailed recordings of the session which happened till yesterday, including the instructions of quiz, including the instructions of your assignments, your projects, everything is mailed to you all. So we request you all to go through it. And if any doubt with regards to it, we are there to help you out. Thank you all. With this, we all will get connected at 3 p.m.